Hi, fifth grade. Today in math, we did lesson 8.8, and it is over finding the area and perimeter of rectangles. First, we need to know what area and perimeter mean, so let's start with perimeter. Perimeter means to add up all the sides of the rectangle. So we would do the length plus the width plus the width. It just means add up all four sides to see how long it is all the way around the rectangle. Area means to multiply the length times the width, and that tells us how much is inside of the rectangle. So perimeter is around the outside. We add up all the sides. Area is timesing the length by the width, which tells us how much is on the inside of our rectangle. We're going to use these two formulas to help us solve some things with rectangles. So let's start down below. I'm actually going to start on this one over here. First, I notice that two of the sides are filled in, but the other two are not. So very first, I'm going to want to fill in my other two sides. So this side would be 5 inches. I know that because it's the exact same as the other side. And then the bottom would be 4 inches because it is the same as the top. Once I have those filled in, I can go ahead and start first by finding the perimeter. Remember, perimeter means add up all the sides. So I have a 4, a 5, a 4, and a 5, and I'm just going to add all of those up. All of that together would be 18. So my perimeter for this rectangle would be 18. And then I always need a label. In this case, it's inches because that's how they are measuring. So the perimeter for this rectangle would be 18 inches. After I'm done finding perimeter, it's going to ask me to also find the area for this rectangle. So remember, I can remind myself area equals length times width. So I'm going to take 5 times 4 because this rectangle is 5 tall and 4 wide. So this would be the length, this would be the width. 5 times 4 is 20. So the area of this rectangle is 20. And then remember, the label for area is a little bit special. We have to say square or SQ and then inches. We always use square and then whatever our label is when we're talking about the area. Let's hop back to this rectangle now and do this one. First, I notice two sides are blank. Let's get those filled in. So this side would be 1/2 centimeters. And my bottom side would be 1/2 centimeters. I have all my sides filled in. Now I can see what they want me to do. First, they're wanting me to find perimeter. Remember, perimeter is add up all the sides. So we have 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. All of that together would be 4/2, which would be the same as 2. Because if I did 4 divided by 2, that would be 2. So the perimeter of this rectangle is 2. And then I'm going to look for my label. Since it's just perimeter, my label just stays the same, so centimeters. That would be my perimeter, circling that as my answer there. It is also asking me to find the area. So remember, area equals length times width. So it's 1/2, or not 1/2, half times a half. 1/2 times 1/2. Remember, when we are multiplying fractions, we go straight across, straight across. So this would be 1/4. So the area of this rectangle would be 1/4. Then remember, I have to have the special label, so square, and then we are in centimeters this time. So the area of this one would be 1/4 square centimeters. We have another long one down here. Let's do that one next. First, I notice this side is blank. It would be 2 meters, the same as the other. And this long bottom piece is blank, so that would be 10 4/5, just like the other. Now that all of my sides have a label, let's go ahead and see what they want. First is perimeter, so add up all the sides. I'm going to stack these up just like I normally would. So 10 4/5. 2, which does not have a fraction, so I'm just going to put it under my big number and leave this side blank. Another 10 4/5. and another 2. Add them up. I like to start on my fraction side. So 4/5 plus 4/5 would be 8/5. And 10 and 10 is 20, plus 4 would be 24. Now, normally I would have you fix this improper fraction using division, but for today, I'm going to let you leave them how they are. So we can just leave it just like that. So our perimeter is 24 and 8/5. My label would be M for meters because we are just doing perimeter. Remember, label stays the same if it's perimeter. Then they would also like for me to find the area. So for the area, I need to do 2 times 10 and 4/5. Now, you could rainbow that. That's how we've done it in the past, where you rainbow this to then multiply by the big number. Or you can chunk it down. I'm going to chunk it down. So I'm going to do 2 times 10. And then I'm going to do 2 times 4/5. So I'm taking that 2 times first my big number and then times my fraction. This is easier in my opinion. So 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 4/5. So 2 times 4 is 8. Bottom stays the same. And then I just squish these two answers together. So my area would be 20 and 8/5. So instead of rainbowing that, I'm just going to chunk it down. Take this times my big number, this times my fraction, and then just squish those together as my final answer. Then I need my label. Remembering this is area, so it's going to have to be square. And then looking up there, we have meters. So 20 and 8/5 square meters would be my area of that rectangle. Alrighty, scooching on down to the bottom section here, we have 2 more to look at. These are a little bit different. It says find the side length of the rectangle. So they are giving me the area. They are giving me one side, and I have to find what this other side would equal. Now, normally I would take this side times this side to equal the area, but I kind of need to work backwards. So if we're trying to work backwards to find a side, we're going to use division because that's the opposite of multiplication. So I'm going to do 29.76 divided by 4.8. Remember, I have to use my decimal rules here, so I cannot divide by a decimal. Move that back 1, which means I move this back 1. I'm going to rewrite it with my decimals in their new spot, which would look like that, so that I am ready to go. 48 is going to round to 50. That'll help me figure out how many times it goes in there. And I'm going to start at 297 right here. 5 goes into 29. 5 times, but I think it's going to be a 6. I think it's actually going to go up 1 more, so I'm going to try a 6. 48 times 6 is what I need to multiply out. 6 and 8 is 48. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 4 more is 28. Ooh, good thing I rounded up. That worked out perfectly. So minus 288. Be careful on that subtraction. If you subtract that correctly, you will get a 9. Then I bring down that 6. As I bring down that 6, I should have noticed something. I passed my decimal, so I have to put that up there in my answer. Once we pass it, we have to add it up there in our answer. Now go again. How many 48s will go into 96? If I cover up my back numbers, 5 will go into 9 1 time, but I actually think it's probably going to be a 2. So I'm going to try a 2 instead. 48 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16. Add my 1 up there. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. Perfect. Good thing I rounded up again. So 6.2, that means this side of my rectangle is 6.2 meters. I need to copy my answer over here in the blank because that's what they've left it for, so that I can fill in that side. All right, we have 1 more over here. It's kind of squeezed out of the way with all that work, but that's okay. We can still solve it. So here's my area. They have given me this side, and they want me to find the other side. So again, I need to work backwards, which means I need to divide. As I go to divide this one, though, I notice this is a fraction. So I'm not going to write it using the house. I'm just going to write it sideways. So 2 divided by 1/3. Now, as soon as I write that down, 3 words should be popping into your head for how I divide fractions. Same, flip, flip. So 2 stays the same. I flip my division to be multiplication. And I flip my 1/3 to be 3/1. Remember, big number times the top, bottom stays the same. So that's going to be a 6/1, which is the same as 6. So my other side of this rectangle would be 6 feet. Now, I went through that addition and multiplication pretty quickly. We know how to add and multiply. You just have to use the right numbers from your rectangle. If you need to rewatch the video or rewatch a certain part before you start your assignment, make sure that you do that, and then you can start your assignment looking for perimeter and area of the rectangles they have given you. Good luck. Do your best. Bye.